We have a motion before us, and that motion is that the report of the Executive Committee dated January 19, 2009 be received and adopted. All those in favor? As amended. I'm sorry. Councillor Swanson.
Well, I'm going to move an amendment that there be an advance poll established at Sunningdale School on the same day as the advance poll at SciAst, and that an advance poll be established at William Grayson on the same day as the advance poll is established at SciAst, and that an advance poll be established at Prince Arthur School the same day as an advance poll is established at SciAst. Speaking to that, I don't think it should be up to individual councillors to selectively choose where advance polls can be and where advance polls cannot be. There was a report prepared by the administration. This is a rather typical report for an election. They think about the process. They make a recommendation. It passed without discussion except for the possibility of mail-in votes. Tonight, it's being suggested that there were requests made to individual councillors to establish an advance poll at SciAst. It is no more meritorious of receiving an advance poll than several other areas of the city. And for councillors to pick and choose which advance polls they will allow to be located where, I think really casts a pall over the validity of the vote and what is really being attempted.
Thank you. Councillor Chow.
Your Worship, I frankly don't understand what the concern is when I'm criticized for not being accessible enough. People call, they ask, why can we not have a poll at SciAst? As a councillor, I bring that matter forward. It seemed to make a lot of sense to me. It wasn't something that was raised with me prior to us dealing with the matter in Executive Council, or I would have raised it at that point in time, and it's unfortunate because that would have been the better time to raise it when the cameras were off, quite frankly, and we could have had a more thorough discussion about it. But that being said, part of my job when people contact me and they make what seems to me to be a reasonable request is that I bring it forward. And that's what I've done here. And it's not a question of councillors individually picking and choosing to try and determine the outcome of the election or whatever else. I supported South Hill, Councillor Swanson, although I never did get an indication from you where or when or anything like that, because, again, the more people that vote, the better. But it appears to me now what you're doing is simply trying to make a mockery out of it by saying, let's have it here, here, and here, in the hopes that people will vote against it because it's being piled on. You know, if you didn't agree with the suggestion that we have one at SciAst, fair enough. That's how we decide things. You expressed your opposition to it, and I can respect that. But to suggest somehow that it's inappropriate for councillors to be lobbied by members of the public over where the polls are going to be, I mean, the reality is we get contacted over all sorts of issues, not just elections and not just polling stations. And so, you know, I make no apologies for the fact that people from SciAst asked me why there was no poll there and whether there could be one so that it would facilitate more of their students and their students and teachers being able to vote, and I brought it forward, and it passed. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you.
Thank you, Councillor Chow. Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I seconded the motion because I think the discussion has merit. I'm not going to vote for it because I didn't vote for the last two. And the comment I'm going to make is that if you're going to put one at SciAst, you should support Councillor Swanson's motion to put them everywhere else too. Because when there's a poll across the street at King George School on election day, that makes no sense to me. But you can't pick and choose in this community. This motion that's here in the executive minutes passed exactly what Councillor Swanson said. No discussion. Passed unanimously. There must be some pretty good merit behind what this administration recommended. The only discussion we had was on the mail-in ballots. If you're in favor of having an advance poll at SciAst, you should vote in favor of Councillor Swanson's motion to have them everywhere else as well.
Thank you. I never once stated, Councillor Chow, that you being called by someone requesting an advance poll at SciAst was inappropriate. What is inappropriate is councillors picking and choosing which advance polls will be allowed on locations. That's what I was referring to, and I again would remind you, please refrain from trying to put words into my mouth that were never there. The inappropriateness is a majority of council saying, oh yeah, SciAst can have an advance poll, but nobody else can have an advance poll, and that is the problem. And to select one place for an advance poll other than City Hall, and then say, oh no, the others can't have it for no reason given whatsoever, that is what is inappropriate.
Councillor Findlay.
Yes. Councillor Swanson, you have added advanced polling stations, and there has been no request from those areas for it to be placed in those areas, so we're just picking areas. But there has been a request from SIAS students, and I will vote for did vote for the polling station at SIAS, and I will not vote for the other one because there has been no request from those stations to have one there.
Thank you. Councillor Segal-Hendry.
Yes, thank you. I would just like to speak to the comment about the fact that, the city, would have been aware of all the needs of the city and would have, come up with the polling stations based on that information. And I remember when this first came out that I phoned into City Hall and talked with Mr. Mackay about the timing of the referendum, because I was concerned that they might have chosen the week that schools were off, and I didn't want it to be a time when so many people were away from the city. And he mentioned at that time we didn't check into that, but they were going to check into it and make sure that that wasn't happening. And as it turned out, schools, or elementary and high schools anyways, are going to be away the week before. Now, I would assume that, being familiar with students that go to these schools, that there are going to be students that are going to be away on the day of the election, because that's the way classes work. You may have classes on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You may have classes on Tuesday and Friday. That may be a day that you're not going to be there, and so it would be much more convenient if they had an advanced poll there on a different date. And so I think this is a thoroughly good idea, that if those students want to vote, and they have been residents for 3 months, and they meet all the other criteria that is needed to vote, that we afford them the opportunity. It's just that simple. Thank you.
This one isn't, and frankly, I don't understand how we can complain about councillors, individual councillors, picking and choosing where advanced polls will be, when Councillor Swanson, you suggested the idea of an advanced poll in South Hill. That's no different than an advanced poll at SIAS, and so I don't understand where the disconnect is, apart from the fact that, again, if there had been a request advanced to me from other locations that seemed to make sense, then I would have been more than happy to bring those forward as well. But as has been pointed out, it's a different day of the week. My assumption is that there are people at SIAS who don't have classes on certain days of the week, who may not be in town for that reason. And for that reason, again, the request was made to, and I brought it forward. And I don't give any apologies for not supporting this last amendment, which has been thrown in simply because one passed and one didn't.
Okay, Councillor Chow. Councillor Swanson to end debate.
I would agree there is no difference between an advanced poll at SIAS or an advanced poll on South Hill. But council seems to think there is a difference because one got approved and one was not approved. If the criteria, as Councillor Finley has stated, is that there was a request for an advanced poll, however informal that request, then there should be an advanced poll in South Hill, because I did receive informal requests for advanced polls in South Hill, and I did have someone from East End indicate to me that they thought an advanced poll would be there. I did not have anyone in Sunningdale VLA indicate to me a need for advanced poll, or near William Grayson. But like I said, if we're going to start having advanced polls in locations suitably, and if the criteria is that someone asked for it, however informally, then how does one that is requested be defeated and one that was requested not be defeated? So there is no consistency in this thing here. What it really is there will be one advanced poll, and it will be at SIAS, and everyone else in the city has to go to City Hall advanced poll and not have an advanced poll in their area of the city to facilitate them, as we are doing for the SIAS students. There is a lack of consistency on this matter. That is what the amendments are, I believe, showing very clearly.
On the amendment to provide advanced polls in Sunningdale, William Grayson, and Prince Arthur. Those in favor? Those opposed? The Motion's defeated.